In this video, we'll be cutting and sewing this crop top and pencil skirt that you can see on your screen. So if you're interested, keep on watching and let's get started. So I already went ahead to cut out my fabric. So I'm going to fold it once and then I'll fold it over. So this crop top is very free, so we don't need any zipper allowance for this crop top. So my fabric is folded into 4 equal halves, okay? So the folded edge of this fabric, which is the part of the fabric that is facing me, I'm going to go ahead and take my neck width measurement. So since this top does not have a zipper, I'm going to take 4 inches as the neck width, and for the neck depth I'll go down by 3.5 inches. So this totally depends on you, depends on how open you want your neckline to be. So what I'll do is to connect from the 4 inches width to meet the 3 inches depth. After doing that, guys, I'm going to place my tape on the folded edge of the fabric and I'll take my shoulder measurement divided by 2, which is 8 inches. I'll use my chalk to indicate that point. On that 8 inches mark, I'm going to go down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I'll also indicate the 1 inch with a dot, and then I'll slant from that 1 inch to meet the neckline, just like you see me doing. After doing that, guys, I'll start taking my points. So I'll place my tape on the edge of my fabric and I'll take the distance from my shoulder to my bust point, which is 10 inches. I'll indicate that and I'll rule a straight line across that point. The next point is the distance from my shoulder to the length of my top. So this is a crop top and it depends on how short you want your top to be. So I want my top to be 18 inches. So I'll mark the 18 inches point and I'll rule a straight line across. So the excess fabric that I have under, I'm going to just fold it inside my lining. So I have my bust point and my top length, which is also my waistline. To get my chest line, I went down by 8 inches. Okay, 8 inches is my chest line. If you don't know how to get your chest line, just go up by 2 inches from your bust point and it will give you your chest line. So the same measurement that I have on my shoulder line, which is 8 inches, I marked it on my chest line, and then I'm going to connect the 2 dots into a straight line like this. After doing that, I'll place my tape on the straight line and whatever I have, I'll divide it into 2. What I had was 7 inches. Half of 7 inches is 3.5 inches. I indicated that with a dot. On that dot, I came inward by half an inch and I indicated that with a dot also. On my chest line, I placed my bust circumference divided by 4, which is 9 inches. I added 1 inch to that measurement for ease and 1 inch for stitching allowance. Okay, so I added 2 extra inches to my bust circumference measurement divided by 4. Okay, so on my top length, which is my waistline, instead of placing my waist circumference divided by 4, I'm placing my bust circumference divided by 4, and I added 1 inch to that measurement for stitching allowance. So this top is going to be free on my body. The 1 inch for ease will make it free. After doing that, I'll connect all the dots together. I'll also go ahead and connect the 3 dots on the armhole area from the shoulder slope to the half an inch mark and from there to the chest line, just like you see me doing. So guys, since I'm cutting directly on my fabric, I want to add stitching allowance to the shoulder area. So I'm going to go up by half an inch on the shoulder, just like you see me doing. This is going to serve as my stitching allowance so I don't run short of fabric. So if you're cutting with free hand, go ahead and add stitching allowance to the shoulder area. After doing that, I'll go ahead and cut, and I'll notch a point where I'm going to fold inside my lining, which is the 1 inch on the base of this fabric. Okay, I'm going to fold it inward. So guys, after cutting, this is what I have. So the front and the back neckline is the same. So what I'll do is to go ahead and cut out lining for my fabric. So I went ahead to fold my lining into 2 and then I placed my fabric on it like this. So what I'll do is to trace out what I have on the fabric on the lining, making sure that the lining is not as long as my fabric. Okay, the lining is going to stop at 18 inches. Okay, so after cutting, this is what I have. I'm going to place my lining on my fabric, the right side of my fabric, and then I'll go ahead and sew. So I'll sew the base first After doing that, I'll sew the neckline, the shoulder, the side, wherever you want to sew. Just make sure have an opening where you can turn your fabric inside out. So guys, I'm done sewing and this is what I have. Okay, so you can see that I folded the 1 inch on the base of my fabric, and this is the back piece. So what I'm going to do, this top is free, so we don't need to take any darts. So I'm going to place them on each other right sides, and I'm going to stitch the shoulders together. So after doing that, we are going to cut out the sleeves. So this is the fabric I'll be using for my sleeves, and I have my basic sleeve pattern here. In case you don't know how to cut out a basic sleeves, I'll be leaving a link in the comment section. So I folded my fabric into 4 because I want to cut out the 2 sleeves together. So on the folded edge of the fabric, I'm going to place my pattern, and I'm going to hold the pattern down with my pin. After doing that, I'll determine how wide I want the sleeves to be. So from the center front, I came out by 13.5 inches, which is how wide my fabric is. I'll go ahead and indicate the 13.5 inches mark with my chalk. After doing that, I'm going to add stitching allowance to the base of the sleeves. So I'll place my tape and I'll go down by 1 inch, which I'll be using to hem the base of my sleeves. So on the armhole area of my sleeves pattern, I'm going to come out by 1 inch, just like you see me doing. I'll place my tape and I'll mark 1 inch. So what I'll do is to slant from that 1 inch mark to meet the base of my fabric. Okay, so in case you don't understand, just look at what I am doing. So guys, next thing I'll do is to go ahead and cut. So I'll cut out the excess fabric on the base, and then I'll cut out the sides, and then I'll trace out what I have on the armhole area. We don't need to alter the armhole area of the sleeves. Okay, so I'll just cut it out as it is. So guys, after cutting, this is what I have. I'll go ahead and notch the center of the sleeves, and then we'll do the butterfly part that you can see on the base of the sleeves. So what I'll do is to go up on the center front. I'll go up by 1.5 inches, and then I'll indicate that with a point. Then I'll use my ruler to slant from there to meet the other side of the sleeves, just like this. After doing that, I'm going to cut that part out, and yeah, that is all for the sleeves. So guys, this is what the sleeves looks like. What I'm going to do is to fold the base of the sleeves, and then I'll hem using the 1 inch allowance that I left. I'll do that for the 2 sleeves, and then I'm going to attach the sleeves to the armhole area of my top. I've already gone ahead to do that, guys, and this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is to sew the 2 sides of the top. So I'm going to use the 1 inch stitching allowance that I left to sew, and I'll turn it inside out. I've gone ahead to do that, guys, and that is all for this crop top tutorial.